wish I wasn't gay. I wish I wasn't black.
I wish that I was brave.
I wish my drill sergeant would stop waking us up at 4 in the morning by throwing a trash can down the middle of the barracks and smoking the dog piss out of us.
I wish I was.
Oh my goodness, that was good. All right. Good morning, Owasso. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. Corey is with me right now. He is in Fort Benning or Fort Moore in Georgia right now doing some iBullock stuff, but he managed to come on the show for me this evening for this one, so we're doing the kind of pre-recorded show. So, Corey, go ahead and let us know what's going on.
Oh, not a lot. Just trying to catch up on sleep and survive the first couple of days here at Bullock. So that's my life, just living that Army life, embracing the suck.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. I'm glad you're doing okay there. But you wanted to talk about kind of get back into the officer high or angry cops kind of thing with the Unsubscribed podcast. So we're kind of following up with that. So we were just they had a follow-up video where he has brought on some evidence to show that the Buffalo school system has been kind of covering some things up. So I guess we'll kind of start from there. Corey, if you want to kind of recap what's been going on.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of it right on our first video that we did. But, like there were teachers that come up saying, yeah, the school seems to just bury this kind of stuff. And they seem to not really care about the students. And again, you and I, what we talked about before, it's not just a Buffalo public school issue. They talk about it's actually a greater issue with all public schools around the nation, saying that, yeah, this stuff happens a lot. Kind of like what we were talking about with that teacher from California that moved here to Oklahoma. Yep. He had issues with SA at his school in California. Then he came here to Owasso and then had to leave immediately from Owasso to go to a different school somewhere here in Oklahoma. So,
and they talk about the same thing with one of the principals actually at the Buffalo schools that fat electrician brings in some at least some accusations. Like I said, none of the stuff that they're getting, because they're getting just stuff they're requesting FOIA requests, so that way they can see what's been going on in the public school system there. And, one of the principals supposedly, or allegedly, as you have to say on the internet, has had a lot of issues with sexually assaulting or being inappropriate with minors, basically.
Yes, exactly.
So, is there anything else that you wanted to touch on before we kind of get into the video?
No, let's just jump right in.
Heck yeah, here we go.
And we just go straight into this one, Mr. Cody. If you want to kick it off, Mr. Cody, of this real quick update video for everyone. To the people watching right now, by the way, this is
just real quick. Can you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Okay, perfect.
Rare thing. We're actually doing it streaming to each other instead of in person, and there's reasons behind that. We can't just fly Rich down because the new stuff that has came out. But Cody, if you want to introduce and get this going.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Unsubscribed podcast. I'm joined today by Angry Cops, the Fat Electrician, Eli Double Tap, Brandon Herrera, and myself, Donut Operator. We are here today because our friend Angry Cops has some updates about the whole Buffalo school system situation. What you got, Rich?
The local media hates me.
Oh.
Yeah, we see that. It seems that trying to disparage me is far more important than looking out for the children of Buffalo. So how dare I even go on your podcast?
And how dare we drink? How dare we drink on that podcast too?
Hashtag absolutely foul.
Listen, I heard you burp, which means you're not allowed to protect children.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And if you remember from our first video, that's exactly right. All the school board people are mainly just talking about how, they were drunk and they were being inappropriate, belching and stuff like that. Like, I find people who abuse children to be more vulgar and disgusting than guys who are trying to point it out who happen to be drinking and talking about something on a podcast.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a gathering of men trying to enjoy themselves, but at the same time, unwind and talk about a very serious issue. And again, well, they were drinking, therefore nothing they say has any merit. Again, it's all about, the media is all about discrediting people rather than actually helping people. And again, in this case, helping children. So again, they attack their character. It's all about character assassinations. Remember, they were like, hey, look, Richard High had complaints against him for using excessive force or being too mean to certain uh, groups that he was policing. It's like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, I mean, this is such a shying away from the actual issue, which is public school corruption.
Yes, 100%. That's exactly what this is. Just shying away from the issues, trying not to make your school look bad. This is what happens when educators and the education system folks care more about the school's reputation than they do about protecting your children. 100% the case.
Yeah, and again, it's all about ego again, and it's all about again protecting their jobs, protecting their paycheck, and again in this case, teachers unions just hey, we're just moving the problem down the road. Who cares? We'll just kick the can down the road.
Yep, 100%. Well, we'll get back into the video then. Unless let me know if you want me to fast forward to another spot. All right.
Now you can fast forward to another spot. That was just kind of the intro part that we were going to talk about, like the whole.
Okay, perfect. Well, then I'm showing here the next spot that you have on for me here is at the 16-minute marker.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. I think that's where Rich starts pulling out. Not Rich. Where a fat electrician starts pulling out the data, all the data he's collected. Is that right?
I don't think so. Not quite.
Okay.
Wix,
You know
one platform.
commercials. I hate commercials. Give me 1 second here. We'll skip it.
You bet.
Nicholas, do you want to bring us up to speed on the sins of the Buffalo School District?
Yeah,
and
that's
how
exactly what it
the
is. That's
local
right.
media has decided to not talk about that at all until Channel 2 came around and decided to.
Just for the sake of time, we're not even going to get into the 70s through the 90s because those are a complete shit show where almost everything went unreported. And the only reason we know about the majority of them now are because people are filing civil suits after the fact due to new legislation. I believe it's the Safe Children's Act, which basically said there is no statute of limitations for civil suits in regards to sexual assaults. So there's been a bunch of stuff that has come out from that era, but we're going to skip past that. We'll get right into like 2019. There was a high school technology teacher caught with illicit child material all over his computer. He is now in federal.
Sorry, again, I'll pause it real quick. Can you hear it? You can hear it, right, brother?
I can hear it just fine.
Okay,
Yep.
perfect. Okay.
Go on.
Federal prison in 2019. Again, another English teacher from the area was caught and convicted for growing marijuana, trafficking marijuana, having possession of illegal firearms, and distributing to minors.
Oh, that's nice.
That's
Wow.
2019. So that was great. 2022, we've got Gregory Johnson, position principal, accused of ongoing physical and abuse of a student during the school year and field trips. The outcome, there has been no criminal charges filed as of 2025, but there is a civil suit that is filed. 2022, failure to report abuse of a high school counselor. This is actually the case that Rich talked about, I believe.
Failure to report by a high school counselor?
Yes.
Not in 2022. Mine's 2024.
2022, a student reported being physically abused by her father multiple times, even showing video evidence. Yes, that's... Sorry, the date's wrong on that one.
That's all right.
We've got the Shane Cronin incident, which is also what we talked about. That is the man that attempted to kidnap 2 children. And then 2024, we have a music teacher in Buffalo Public School that was attempting to meet up with a 13-year-old girl for sexual acts, but it was actually an undercover sting operation. In 2025, a teacher accidentally gave THC-infused gummies to 2 students that landed them in the hospital. And those are just a couple of the current cases that Buffalo School District has going.
So as you can see, there seems to be a reoccurring theme going on here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like exactly what we talked about. It's like the teachers' unions and the schools themselves, because there's so much pressure put on the teachers' unions. It's like, well, they can do no wrong, and if the teachers do something wrong, they're not going to be exposed because the schools are going to do their best to put pressure on the police officers to not file those reports, or the officers that actually work in the school. And they're also going again, and even if they do get caught, they're not going to solve the problem. They're just going to kick the teachers on down the road. This is a huge problem. Again, they're only talking about a small portion of the problem. They actually talk, and I think it's almost like I don't think they've seen our video, but they talk about the issue that we're talking about right now. It's like they don't solve the problem. They just kick the can down the road. They just move
Yes.
the teachers. They just move the problem.
Yes. No. 100%. It's and again it's them not taking ownership. It's like, oh, I'm not going to report this. I'm sure somebody else has or will report this is the issue. They're not taking ownership of the problem. They're hoping, like you just said, kicking the can down to the road to somebody else, hoping that they'll pick up this trash.
Absolutely.
Which is ridiculous, is absolutely ridiculous. But let me see here. Is that as far as you want to go? Or is that one keep going?
No, we can go to another one. We can go to another timestamp.
Let me go. Next timestamp that you sent me here. Am I on the wrong? I think I'm on the wrong one. Hang on one second. No, not that. I think I'm on the wrong one. There we go. Sorry about that. There we go. I need to go to the Owasso Live one, don't I? I'm on the wrong one. Happens. Okay, and then 21 minutes in is the next timestamp that you have for me.
Yeah.
Boom.
Familiar with the stats and needed to look into it more.
Rich,
If
this
I
actually
may.
ties. I was going to say real quick. It actually ties in kind of with what Rich has with what you got presented a little bit. Brandon, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, if I may be so bold, it sounds like Buffalo Public Schools have a rocky past.
This rare phenomenon.
Golly, dude, commercials are killing me. This is why we should record these things from now on. There we go.
Say that.
Bro, might it be controversial?
Maybe I would say that would sound pretty controversial. But enough about your rocky past. Let's talk about your rocky future.
Yeah, it's gonna be rocky going forward. Cody, let me know if you ran into any of this, so you can echo it, because I feel like this is a nationwide thing. Like, I think that's why one of the reasons why the video got a lot of attention is a lot of people working around schools.
Yeah, 100%. And this is what we've been talking about is like schools literally and teachers unions have these problems. Did it just get super dark in your room?
No, I think it's just the lighting on the laptop.
I got you. Yeah, but teachers unions and schools don't fire these teachers who have been accused of these things. All they do is they move them to another school, and we just talked about that.
Yep.
And that's all they do.
Yeah, they mentioned that problem. It's like I just mentioned exactly what they said. I mean, this is a problem nationally, not just in Buffalo. This is just him coming out because he's so famous is put a spotlight on the problem, and hopefully the spotlight lights it up absolutely everywhere all over the nation.
100% agree with that.
Like, I guarantee you, as soon as we get rid of a lot of these bad, corrupt teachers, I guarantee a lot of the activist teachers aren't going to want to be in this profession anymore either.
Well, I would argue that most of those activist teachers, especially the LGBTQ and trans ones, are probably the more likely the ones that are wanting to get their hands on children for unscrupulous reasons.
Yeah, for sure.
So let me see if there's anything else to tag on to this.
Or closely with schools have seen this happen, across the states. So when it comes to those 54% of calls that go under miscellaneous or information only, when I say hiding a call or killing a case, right, that could mean a couple of different things. And we'll talk about hiding a call or burying it, right? If I have a sexual assault between two children at the school, what the school will do sometimes is they'll call it in and make it information only or juvenile trouble, right? So these things do not elicit an investigation. There's no crime in information only or juvenile trouble. They're basically what they say they are. So in an information only, if Nick and I got in a verbal argument and we're neighbors, we don't get along, I might even say that he pushes my garbage can over 5 feet into my other neighbor's yard because he doesn't like me. I'll call up 911. I'll get a report done. It'll be information only. The information will be that I don't get along with my neighbor and he keeps moving my garbage can. It's really just a way to keep historical track of an issue that somebody might have. Hey, I just want this on paper just to show a history of this type of action, right? There's no criminal aspect to it. There's no investigation. So what the schools will do is they'll have information brought in by a student, we'll say, who says, my friend or myself happens to be assaulted, right? They're reporting for themselves or reporting for one of their friends. And the school will take it. And for
Just want to point out, because we had a commenter on one of our videos say that you don't get in trouble for saying words like sexual and then beat, assault. This is proof that that the YouTube algorithm does do something to your videos to hamstring them, because you notice how they have bleeped every time they have said the word,
Yep.
SA. They say that, the SA sexual and then ... assault,
Yeah, and again, what they're talking about too here is, and what he's talking about, what you paused, he's talking about the schools putting pressure or not filing the reports correctly, like they just do it as information. And so when you put it as under information instead of like a investigation case, or in this case an assault or something along those lines, it gets buried, and the police don't. It's just information. It's not like a crime, or it's not like an important matter, because they listed as an information. They're tracking that. So he's actually going in, and he'll explain in a minute that he's going in and digging into some of these information questions, going, these aren't information, these are crimes, and they're just burying it so they don't have to deal with it.
Exactly. It's like they get filed in a certain way. So it's either assault, it's battery, it's it's whatever. They'll be put in and filed as such. And the schools are just basically having these all filed as information, which information is not going to pop up on, like, we'll say, use school terms here as your permanent record. It's buried somewhere, like, oh, well, this doesn't matter. Here, I'm going to put this down here unless someone is looking for this particular person's case file or whatever.
Yes, exactly.
For some reason, and I don't know why, they're worried that it's going to be labeled as another in their school, even if it's just it didn't happen here. I'm just telling you because you're my teacher and I trust you. Could have happened at home, right? And they're burying it under information only. So then no investigation goes through it. Hey, Janie said that she was touched, but it happened at home. We don't want the stigmatism of another call being here. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it information only and then fill it out.
New Airhead Salad Bar.
See, they do this on purpose because of this guy, I think. I think they purposely, YouTube does these commercials to
Case
piss
closed.
me off.
Hey, this person says that they were touched.
Likely.
We don't no further information. Case closed. Now, the only way that we can find that on BPD is if I search information only at that address, which never happens. Why would I search information only? There's no criminal aspect to it. There's no investigation needed. And
That's what we're talking about. So if it's filed under information, it's not going to pull up unless he is specifically looking for that person and that address or whatever.
Exactly. So it just gets buried in a litany of reports that just nobody goes on. They go unnoticed because
they're not criminal. It's just, hey, here's an issue.
We're looking for crimes, not for information requests. I mean, that's just the way it is. And this is what the schools and what lawyers and what teachers unions are hoping for.
100%.
They want this stuff buried. So
well, it's like I said, they are protecting the reputation of their institution. They're not watching out for the kids. That's what this is.
For sure. And again, they're protecting their paychecks. They're protecting the golden goose. The kids aren't the golden goose. The institutions are the golden gooses for them.
Yeah.
The kids are just the product. I mean, effectively, like they're just the byproduct.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's the same thing with what, you hear about with all the actual, what I'd call like the good drill sergeants and the good, what are they called? Like officers and stuff. They go, the question I want to know about the people in your company is, would you be proud to go to war with them, or would you be proud to serve with them again? You're just like, and you look at some of the people that didn't finish a bunch of the obstacles that you had to do, whether it be the ruck, the shooting, whatever. It's like, no, I don't feel comfortable going to battle. There's a handful of them in there. I'd be like, yeah, that guy's got my back, and I'd have his. But there's some of those people who be like, I wouldn't want near me.
Yeah, exactly. You can go to that last timestamp now, and we can wrap it up.
Absolutely. It's I got 29. You said 33, so I'll go to 29 first.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go, and we are locked in.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh, no, that was on Sunday. Monday, they had independent auditors go to the administration building and walk around the hallways and try to ask people questions. And most people ignored them and stonewalled them, which, I can't really fault that if random dudes with cameras were showing up at my place of work. I don't really blame them for that. But then one gentleman by the name of John M. Palmara in the finance office got so upset that they were asking questions about the Buffalo Public Schools deleting evidence, he said, I know what to do. I'll break their phone that they're recording on and destroy more fucking evidence. Good. What a way to set a precedent and show what you guys are all about. Great fucking work. I love it.
Wild. Wild.
Yeah. It's like, what do you do? Said, if these allegations aren't true, it's like, if these allegations aren't true, what are you getting mad about?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the question. So
it's ridiculous. But again, this is what happens. Again, when these people's livelihoods are at stake, they're going to lash out. And again, they're guilty. They know they're guilty, and that's why they're upset.
Yep. No, 100% true. That is 100% true. Then let's see what this one at 33 is. But yeah, and then we talked about this, I think, earlier too, was the school is hiring an independent auditors or investigators or whatever to come in, a third party to come investigate, and just like, yeah, this independent party is going to have, like, how we were supposed to believe this independent party has no ties to the school whatsoever to look for corruption that's happening inside the school.
The school's paying them. The longer we investigate, the more money we get paid. The more, and if we find them not guilty, we'll probably get paid more because they'll want us back to investigate the next big one.
Exactly. All right, well, here's this last one that you sent me. We're at the 33-minute marker.
Yeah.
Intriguing information that could be brought to light to show a history of, not working with police very well or intentionally mislabeling or even failing to report. I received an email from an individual at a school, and this individual said, hey, Rich, you came to my school last year, and you were investigating a school assault on one of our students. This person didn't say exactly who told them that that they were not allowed to talk to me. But this person also had a statement from the student. Not the student that was assaulted, but the student's friend that was one of the people that she confided in. I forget the actual term that we use for it in policing, but whenever somebody confides their sexual assault to a friend, it's like their first utterance of it happening. That's a big deal. We notate the date and time and what that person was told by that individual, and it grants credence and validates the victim's story, right? Instead of just a he said, she said. There's other people involved, which is what we want. More eyes, more statements, more voices to solidify exactly what happened. So I'm going to read what this child wrote in a statement, and then I'll go over why it's a big deal.
Just to be clear, before you read the statement, just so I understand exactly what's happening, you investigated this, you solved the case, you closed the case.
Yes.
And this individual at the school, either a teacher, a counselor, whoever, was given this written information by the student and then was told she was not allowed to give it to you, the detective that was actively investigating this assault.
That's correct.
So this is new evidence.
Jesus.
This is new evidence brought in after the fact because the administration withheld evidence intentionally in a sexual assault case.
That's correct.
So this would be failure to report and obstruction of justice?
I mean,
Stop there, Chad.
Perfect timing.
Yeah. Fat Electrician says it perfectly right there. I mean, they're obstructing justice, and they told kids that they can't come forward with information to police. It's like, sorry, sweetie, you can't do that.
Yeah, but this is the evidence that we're talking about. That he comes with the evidence now. This was a case that he was actively working on that finally got closed. This is how he knew about this corruption inside the Buffalo school system. Not just from the case that he just closed, but from several that I believe he's working on within the Buffalo school system. But this one, he's finally able to bring the evidence out because it's a closed case now. So it shows that there are people in the administration, whether it's teachers or the people at the administration level, that are actively telling kids to keep their mouth shut, keep quiet. We don't want to cause a scene, stuff like that. Which, it's always funny that, we always hear, you always hear like liberals say disinfectant is the best sunlight. Well, obviously not when it comes to public school systems.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, this This is about teachers protecting their paycheck. It's about the corrupt teachers unions keeping bad teachers where they're at. It's about lazy bad teachers getting tenure and just hanging out until and doing whatever they want until they can just get their pension and go away. It's a huge problem. It's not just the crimes in the SA going on. It's that, and it's so much more.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing that this is all being brought to the light now. And again, thanks to this group of guys at the Unsubscribe podcast, the Angry Cops, or our Angry Drill Sergeant there. And you got Donut Operator as well as Bad Electrician and even Eli Double Tap. I mean, they're all doing a great job exposing this stuff. And again, this is just the surface. I mean, the stuff that we're talking about here now and talking about it on a national level, like that's the issue. It's just the national level. I mean, he's trying to spotlight it on Buffalo. It's everything. It's national.
Yeah, nationwide. It's easily nationwide on something like this because, I mean, just as we said with that one guy that we said was here in Owasso, that we followed a trail of kids that he had, was in inappropriate relationship with female students, and just like, okay, one time maybe it's a one-off where it's like, oh, maybe the girl did make a false accusation, but if you go through and there's a consistent pattern of
happens, yeah,
exactly.
One,
it's just
two,
like it's
3 more times.
It's a pattern, and that's how it. Yeah, but that's how I was saying. I know the teachers' unions are evil, and the administrations are evil. It's like one time might be an accident, twice is not an accident, more than 3 times that's a pattern. Yeah. It is a consistent pattern.
And it's just like that weird teacher that had the dresses and boys' clothes and girls' clothes for trans students at the 8th grade center. It's like he's still teaching. He's just in Tulsa now.
Yeah, they just move them.
If they actually cared about solving this problem, they'd be like, you don't have a teacher's license anymore, bud. You're not allowed to do that anymore. And again, somebody's protecting it. Maybe not be Owasso, but it's definitely the unions.
Yeah, it's somebody. Do you want me to continue with this video for a little bit longer?
No, that was it. I mean, like, if anybody wants to see the actual report and what he read, they can watch the Unsubscribed podcast and go to that.
Yeah. I will link that in the description below for anybody who does want to watch it. But yeah, I guess I'll end it out with one of the Angry Cops memes again. But do you have anything else that you wanted to add or say, Corey?
No, that's it, man. I am glad that I was able to join in today. I don't know if I'll have many opportunities to do it again because it's going to pick up over here at Ibolic. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's about all I've got for you today. This is the Twins with the Owasso Live. This was the Morning Loop. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you too can stay in the loop. But that is all I've got for you. God bless you.
See you later, everybody.
What are you good at?
I like eating and sleeping.
Okay. And what are you not good at?
Everything.
What are you good at?
I like eating and sleeping.
Okay. And what are you not good at?
Everything.